Did you know that a gang in New York stole more than $1 million in Polo Ralph Laurens? No matter how much I look around, I cannot think of one brand more American than Ralph Lauren. While fashion trends come and go, Ralph Lauren is a staple in American culture. And over the years, the brand has covered almost every facet of American culture. Anything from first ladies, the red carpet, the Americans Olympic team, to Kanye's pink polo era, and of course the Chief Keef era.
Cheese in my pockets, velvet up. Bang, bang, bang.
Over the years, both the brand and its founder had their fair share of ups and downs. So in today's video, we will retrace the evolution of the brand. How did a kid from the Bronx build one of the most successful clothing empires? Did Ralph Lauren actually design the iconic polo shirt? How did a luxury brand become a streetwear staple and an all-American brand? Well, everything will be answered by the end of this video. Let's get into it. The story starts in the Bronx in 1939, where Ralph Lifshitz, the last of four, was born into a modest Jewish family. His dad worked as a painter. From a young age, Ralph had a taste for luxury. His love of luxury derived from the movies he watched. Back then, a lot of movies portrayed the gentleman from upper-class America. Tailored suit, cigar in one hand, and a glass of scotch in his other hand. Sports cars, mansions. Young Ralph wanted it all. He wanted that lifestyle. The first roadblock he faced in his life was his last name, Lifshitz. It ended with shit, and the self-described insecure kid had to take a lot of that because of it. So at the age of 16, he made the decision to change his name from Ralph Lifshitz to Ralph Lauren, something more fitting with the bourgeoisie lifestyle he was hoping to live one day. Lauren attended day school before eventually graduating from DeWitt Clinton High School in 1957. He went to Baruch College of the City University of New York, where he studied business, although he dropped out after 2 years. After a short time in the military, Ralph finally got into fashion as a seller for the Brooks Brothers store in New York. He still spent a lot of time watching movies portraying the lifestyle he dreamed of. And this is how he slowly developed a vision for his brand. For him, it needed to be more than just clothes. He wanted to sell a lifestyle. He brought his ideas to his boss and hoped for a partnership, but they didn't come to an agreement. So he decided to go solo and opened a tie shop called Polo Ralph Lauren. And it became an instant hit. After the ties came the shirt, and then the suit, and about 5 years later, the iconic polo shirt. You might think that he was the one who invented the polo shirt because of the name, but the shirt existed a long time before Ralph Lauren. The shirt, as we know it today, was designed by the French René Lacoste, the founder of Lacoste in the 1920s. He thought the clothes of tennis players at the time to be too uncomfortable and designed the shirt as an alternative. For Ralph Lauren, business went well, and after watching so many gentlemen's movies, he was offered to design for one. The Great Gatsby released in 1974, which turned out to be the big boost that would catapult Ralph Lauren to the forefront of the gentleman's clothing world. After that, it was success after success for the brand. The brand became heavily associated with the culture of America's prestigious Ivy League institutions. From the brand's smart casual blazers, Oxford shirts, and chinos, to its varsity sports references such as rugby, rowing, lacrosse, and of course, polo. The brand then traveled the entire world, and when it made it back home to New York in the 90s, things were different.
We was the evolution of the street gangs of New York.
These were items of respect and gave you social status in your neighborhood. The attraction to boost Ralph Lauren, it was his turn to get stolen.
Even though this part of the story is often left out in documentaries and books about the brand, there is no doubt that hip-hop music and streetwear culture played a huge role in the brand's evolution throughout the late 80s and 90s. Many rappers started to wear polo, and so were the people listening to them. Ralph became the must-have in the hood of New York, and became so lusted over that a gang in Brooklyn was after them. They were called the Lowlife. Lowlifes are members of a Brooklyn-based subculture centered around Polo Ralph Lauren. They became known for stealing Ralph Lauren's merch in stores, and it is estimated that the crew stole $1 million worth of merch during the late 80s and 90s. Sure, $1 million was a lot, but that wasn't the biggest blow it made to the brand. The perspective on the brand changed, as people were getting robbed and hurt over their Ralph Lauren clothes. The core shopper of the luxury brand also did not appreciate how the urban culture took over the brand. This was such a big deal that Ralph Lauren was once close to declaring bankruptcy. We have seen that many times with brands like Lacoste and Burberry, where some people looked down on it because a lower economic class was wearing. As if all of this wasn't a lot already, Ralph Lauren would be diagnosed with a brain tumor, requiring brain surgery during that time. In order to escape bankruptcy, Ralph Lauren went public and sold 28% of the brand to Goldman Sachs for $135 million. With all that money and new investors came a total rebrand of the brands. Instead of aiming strictly at an upper-class lifestyle, the brands aimed for the pride of Americans. Now you can see the flag of the US all over their collection. The colors blue, red, and white are still very much used to this day in their clothing. They designed clothes for teams in the Olympics and made a documentary about the road to success of Ralph Lauren. The designer became so popular that people started to see him as the symbol of the American dream, next to the likes of Disney. The story of the poor kid who worked hard on his way to the top. While it is hard to remember a period where the brand was never relevant, we can't end this without mentioning how certain artists like Kanye and Chief Keef impacted the brand. Towards the late 90s, Polo took a dip in popularity while new brands like Tommy Hilfiger took over. But in 2003, something miraculous happened that started another wave of Ralph Lauren.
18 years, she got one of your kids, got you for 18 years. I know when
While other rappers wore throwback jerseys, Kanye wore polo. And with that came his signature pink polo. This helped re-establish the brand's popularity. In the 2010s, Chief Keef also helped the brand reach a new fan base when he rose to fame. Today, Ralph Lauren isn't as popular as it once was, but it is also far from irrelevant. Even though the brand refuses to claim streetwear in its history, they have embraced it through their latest collections. They have different collections aimed at different folks. Ralph Lauren is one of the few affordable brands known for their good quality. With their history and just the sale of polo shirts, they are set for years to come. The channel is growing, and I want to thank you for that. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you next week with a new video. Peace!